Okay, well, good morning, ninth grade and advanced eighth graders. I hope you all having a good start to this week. So we're going to go on to our next lesson, which is 10.2. And now we're talking about factoring trinomials. If you remember, what is a trinomial? Well, it may have been a while, so we're going to review. Please turn to page 409 if you want to follow along. That'll be really helpful. So trinomials and something that's going to look like this: x squared plus 7x plus 12. Something like that, right? It has three terms, so there's our try. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to be factoring something like that. Okay, you don't have to write that down because we're going to go over it. So here we go. Let's say that they gave us something like this. This is what we did during our last unit, right? We multiplied. Let's say it was, not 5, x plus 7. This is in your explanation here. So we do x times x, and we get x squared. We do x times 7 and get plus 7x. 5 times x and get plus 5x. 5 times 7 and plus 35. And we combine these guys down here for our final answer of x squared plus 12x plus 35. Now, the cool part is that was last unit. So this unit, if you look at this term right here, that is the sum of the constants. Now remember, constants are numbers, not the variables. See how that's 7 plus 5 is 12, right? 5 plus 7 equals 12. Then this guy down here, 35, that is the product of constants. Okay, I'm sorry, you can't read that, but it's the same as this, constants. And this time it's the product, right? See this, 5 and 7, 5 times 7 equals 35. Okay, so that's by way of intro. So hopefully that will help you kind of track as we go into some examples. So let's say it says to factor x squared minus 5x plus 6. Now remember, what is out here? What is the 6? That 6 is the product. That means that these things will be, something needs to be multiplied to get to 6. Okay? And then what is this guy right here? The 5. He is the sum. So something needs to be added together to get 5. So we have to think of the same numbers when we do this and this and this and this with x at the beginning, right? You see x squared is going to be x and then x. Something that's going to be when they're multiplied together, they equal 6. Okay? And then when they are added together, they equal 5. Or added or subtracted together. Well, this one is a little bit more tricky because you could have, right? You could say, well, 6 times 1, right? 6 times 1 is 6, and a 1 and a 6 does get you 5. So let's try our signs. If it is a positive sign right here, that means that it has to be the signs have to be the same. Which signs? These signs right in the middle have to be the same. Well, this guy over here that I'm going to circle in blue is a negative. The only way we can get a negative number by adding is if they're both negative. So let's try both negative. Negative, negative. Okay, what is x times x is x squared. Then we have x times negative 6 is negative 6x. Negative 1 times that, negative x plus 6. What does that add up together in the middle? X squared minus 7x plus 6. That's not what we were trying to do. So what that means is we have to redo and try with some different numbers. So I'm going to clear that and do the same problem. X squared minus 5x plus 6. And we're going to factor that into x. So we know the x's were right, but it's not 6. So what else multiplied together gets 6? Well, that would be a 3 and a 2. Now, again, they have to be the same because this is a positive. So we know that they're either going to be both positive, positive, or negative, negative. Those are our options. Now let's look up here. This guy is a negative, so that means that leaves us with this option for negative, negative. So we do negative and negative. So now when we multiply, we have x times x, which is x squared, x times negative 3, negative 3x, negative 2 times x, negative 2x, negative 2 times negative 3 plus 6. We combine these guys, look what we get. X squared minus 5x plus 6. Voila, that's what we wanted to do. So that means that our correct answer then is x minus 2 times x minus 3. That right there is our final answer in red, x minus 2 times x minus 3. Okay, so some of this is trial and error. Here is one of the rules that we have to know, though, when we go over it. If you have a term that is going to look like this, x squared, and then we have a sign, and then we have what they call here dx sine and c squared, or sorry, not c, just c right there. Right, this is our term. Now, this is kind of tricky, but the way this works, if this, okay, everybody look, all we have to do is look at this sign right there, that sign. If that sign is a plus, okay, what that means is that both signs are the same. They are either both positive, positive, or negative, negative. So we split this up and have x and x. Before I do anything else, if this is positive right here, then I know that it's either going to be plus plus or it's going to be minus minus. I automatically know that, okay? So if this sign is positive right here, then both of these are the same. Inside here are the same, okay? Hope that makes sense. Now, the fun part, looky here, I'm going to erase this, so if you need to pause that, go for it. If this guy is negative, okay, if that's negative, that automatically means that we're going to have something like this. One of them is going to be positive, one of them is going to be negative. We automatically know that a negative sign here is going to lead to this. Okay, so you can just write that. I would just do that. You automatically know that when there is a negative sign at the end, it will be plus and minus. One will be plus, one will be minus. It doesn't matter which one. You just then have to figure out where you put the numbers, okay? Now, that's looking at the last one. Now, what about if we want to look at the first sign? Okay, so let me do this. What if we want to look at this guy right here in the middle and say, what if he is a plus? Okay, if that one right there is a plus, what that means, and let's say that that one's a plus and this one's is a plus, okay? So we have a plus at the end and we have a plus at the beginning. What that means is that both will be a plus, okay? They just drop down. Okay, so when you have two pluses like that, they both become plus. So if you need to write that down, go for it. Now, if we have a plus and then a minus, okay, what that means is that one of them is going to be a plus, and it means that one of them is going to be a minus. Do you see that? We just carry it down. So again, take the blue, and it just carries. Okay, so the only time it does not carry down like that is when it's two negatives. Okay, so I hope you wrote that down. Here we go. Here's the only one that doesn't work like that, and that is when we have a negative and a negative. Okay, so what that means is that one of these is going to be positive and one is going to be negative. So this guy carries down, but then this guy, see, he can't carry down because one of them is going to be bigger than the other one, because one is negative, one is positive, and obviously which one is bigger is the negative one, because it's overall a negative in the middle. Okay, so a lot of this is trial and error. Ooh, don't need a ruler. So let's do one or two more for practice, and then I'll give you your homework. So if they give us a squared plus 8a plus 15. Now, what can I tell about this? Sign here and sign here. Both are plus. Remember what I said to do? We just drop them straight into their slot. X, or not in this case, it's not x. In this case, it's a. We drop it straight into its slot. We get a plus something, a plus something. You see how we just dropped it straight down? Why? Because they were both pluses. Now, I got to say, what times what is 15. Well, I do 15, I do a factor tree, I get 5 and 3. So let's try a 5 in one and a 3 in another. Doesn't matter because they're both plus, so the order doesn't matter. So let's see, a times a is a squared. A times 5 is 5a. 3 times a is 3a. And 3 times 5 is 15. I combine the 5 and the 3, and I look at this. A squared plus 8a plus 15. That means I did it right. So this, in green, circled, is my final answer. A plus 3, a plus 5. Okay, I'm going to do one more quickly, and then this lesson will be over. So, last one I'm going to do, let's look at this right here. A squared plus 3a minus 28. Okay, now, this one, looky here, is a plus and a minus. So what that means is I automatically, I don't know why I keep doing X here. I'm so used to using that. A, and look what I can do. I can just carry it down, because I'm going to have a plus A, and I'm going to have a minus, because combined, they have to be a minus. So, then I look up here, what times what is negative 28? Well, if I do 28 as a factor tree, I get 4 and 7, 2 and 2. So I could have 2 times 14, or 4 times 7, or something like that. Now, I look over here and say, I need a 3. And guess what? 4 and 7, ooh, that comes out to a 3. So that's looking promising. So now I have to worry about the order and say 28. Okay, we know that now it's going to be 7 and 4, but we don't know which way to go. So now I look at this sign right here. It's a plus. So when it's a plus, it means I have to put the plus, this plus, with the bigger one. And I put the 7 right there. And put the smaller 4 over here. And now I test my answer to see if that is true. And I do A times A, which is A squared. A times negative 4, which is negative 4A. 7 times A, which is plus 7A. 7 times negative 4, which is negative 28. I combine those and look at that. A squared plus 3A, right? The 7 was bigger, minus 28. And there's my answer. So that means that this, in red, is the correct answer. So you may have to play around with it, try and get the negatives. Make sure you do this step right here that I'm circling correctly with the negatives and positives. If you do that wrong, not going to be fun. Okay, so here is our homework. We're not going to do that many. This is page 411. And we are going to do simply, this is part 1 of the lesson, 2 through 16 even. That's it. 2 through 16 even. Okay, let me know if you have questions. Mr. H misses you all. I hope you all have a great day. Mr. H is over and out.